Glad you're tapping in. Man, there is so much going on in the world, so much going on that is worth talking about. The big one, the big news that came out today is Justin Bieber has come down with the Ramsey Hunt syndrome. And what we've all been waiting for, really, essentially, are for the memes to begin. And I think they're about to start beginning. I think it's worth noting that Ramsey Hunt syndrome, which is one of those things that, like myocarditis, we didn't know about until we know about it. And one of the ways that we know about it, and the reasons we know about it, is because a famous person becomes afflicted with something that maybe they didn't have before, that sort of becomes a big deal. Now, for example, his wife, Hailey Bieber, if I'm not mistaken, just a couple weeks ago, had a funky heart situation going on. I'm not trying to knock the Bieber family. I wish them nothing but the best. I wish them nothing but good health. Good health. They seem like two people that really love each other and love the Lord and all that good stuff. All right. But this Ramsey Hunt syndrome is facial paralysis, and it is a side effect of the thing, right? The thing. So we're seeing side effects. We're seeing side effects of the thing in famous people who are now coming down with things that people have never fucking had before. None of us had heard of myocarditis until, we heard of myocarditis. And then we start seeing things in the news like athletes, young athletes, strong athletes, just dying. No follow-up. There's no follow-up on the massive heart attack that the guy had at 25. We don't talk about that. When there was a baseball player 20-odd years ago who was taking ephedra and not eating, mind you, right? He wasn't a starting pitcher. He was just a pitcher. I don't know if he was in AAA. I don't remember the facts. It's many, many moons ago. However, he was taking ephedra, which is it's a stimulant used in fat burners. And he didn't eat for like 3 days, and he had a heart attack, and he died. They banned ephedra. It seems like if there were real risks and side effects, that we'd be having hearings over why young people are getting sick and dying of heart attacks at 25, at 30, at 45. And these are relatively healthy people with what you would expect to be strong hearts. However, it's not seeming to be the case. It becomes scary. It becomes scary because there were people that got this thing and didn't took their doctor's advice. And what we're seeing is that our doctors don't really care. Our doctors don't actually have our best interest in mind. Our law enforcement officials definitely don't have our best interest in mind. I hate to be the guy that says, you can't exactly trust the FBI, but when you look at reports that come from the FBI and people that come out of the FBI, and when they end up on these news media resources and they're the talking heads, we have to remember that right now, this very second, the FBI is being sued by the young ladies of the United States, like the United States gymnasts, all right? Simone Biles and all of those young girls. They are suing because the FBI knew about Larry Nassar and did nothing. So there's a recent history of the Federal Bureau of Investigations not doing what they're supposed to be doing. The young men who were on SSRIs, who shot people, A lot of them the FBI knew about. What do they actually do at this point, other than let bad things happen? I mean, and don't get me wrong, I'd love to be able to point and say, like, this is a good thing where federal law enforcement have clearly gone and they've helped us out and done the right thing. I want to be that guy. I want to be that guy so bad. But what we're looking at is a Federal Bureau of Investigation that doesn't investigate, that knew that Larry Nassir was molesting girls who were members of the United States Olympic gymnast team. They knew about that. They did nothing. So when the FBI says there's all this evidence that these guys on January 6th did this terrible thing, I don't really trust it. They are the ones who, as an organization, have made themselves untrustworthy. I didn't do that. That was them. I was the guy that I fucking loved the FBI. As a kid, I thought they were the greatest shit ever. Again, kids are fucking stupid, so maybe we shouldn't listen to them when they want to make life decisions. That's another conversation. But what I'm saying is, by the way, this is Mr. LePew. Say what up. Sorry. The Federal Bureau of Investigation has been aware. What about the Buffalo shooting? Did you hear about the man killed who was working on the? Yeah, so 100%. The former police officer who had been on the news because he was building an engine. I guess he built an engine that ran on water. The last time that happened, and this is that actual invention has been invented before. And the craziest fucking thing happened. The guy that did it the last time, he got killed too. The Buffalo, and I could be conflating Buffalo and Uvalde, but if I'm not mistaken, and please do your own research, because again, I could be wrong on this, but if I'm not mistaken, there was a federal agent that was in communication with the Buffalo shooter up to about 30 minutes before the shooting. I don't want to say that there's a possibility that this young kid might have been coaxed, but it's not like this sort of thing hasn't happened before, where you have had young kids coaxed, duped into doing terrible fucking things at the orders of some powerful man, right? And it's not like, Twistella, my brother, you're from Buffalo. I'm hurting. Those are things. Those aren't things that you're just hearing. Those are true. That man, that young kid, was in contact with a retired federal agent, and almost every one of these shootings, the shooter is known to law enforcement. The kid in Uvalde, Texas. His school was part of an AI program that monitored kids' social media platforms. And what they did, or what they're supposed to do, is warn parents and warn families, and take proper precautions if they are seeing that a kid is doing crazy, dangerous stuff, bad stuff on social media. This is all shit the kid was doing. Like, who he was in life is who he was on social media, right? Like, he liked guns, he liked doing crazy shit, and he loved talking about the crazy shit he was going to do. But these federal agencies were aware of him. But that's every single one of them, right? That's almost every single one. It's not universal. I'm sure there's a couple actual lone wolves out there. I just can't point to any. I mean, There's so many. The crazy thing that this sucks. What really sucks is when you hear the worst, right? When you hear the worst that, like three-letter agencies, folks from three-letter agencies were aware that this sort of thing was going on. They were involved, and it erodes confidence not just in the federal agencies, but it erodes, well, it does, and erodes the confidence of the folks that are there that are trying to do good work. And it always will, but that sort of thing will always exist because these foundations, these three-letter agencies, they're bureaucracies. They're 60, 70-year-old bureaucracies. They have rules, and rules for everything. He was a psyop victim of brainwashing and sedation. Yeah, but that's all of them. My brother, that is all of them. That's every single one of them. Or they're in on it from jump. Like Tim McVeigh, I believe that he was in on it from jump. I've been blessed to have a conversation with someone I've been blessed to have a conversation with, that man, Norm Olson, and he agrees that there is much more to the case of Tim McVeigh than we are being told. But I think in the future, like we're going to know. Just today, the World Health Organization is saying that they want more research into the lab leak theory. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? That's crazy to me that 2 years later, after all of the issues that the World Health Organization has had with China at an administrative level, uh, the World Health Organization now says, "Oh, let's look at that. Let's look at that. I want to know if China stopped paying." Do you think China stopped paying? Do you think maybe China's like, you know what? We're gonna close down all the testing facilities. You didn't have our back like you were supposed to, or whatever they're pissed off about, right? I don't know how it's going to look in the long run. I'm excited to see how it's going to look in the long run, but I think in the long run it's going to probably lead to a third world war. And I don't believe it's going to be nuclear because, like I've said before, I don't think nukes are real. I think that we'll see the fake alien invasion before we see the nukes. And I don't know if we ever really talked about aliens. If you guys want to talk about aliens, we can absolutely talk about aliens. But what I do want to talk about while it's still a subject is. Um, the fact that that's cat leaving. Uh, Justin Bieber has facial paralysis, um, that is likely through the jab. And how crazy is that? That's ridiculous. It's funny, not funny. It's actually it's tragic. I don't mean to say that it's funny, but in the end, it's not one of those things you couldn't see was coming. All right, I'm gonna dip out. I'm gonna do some family stuff. I'm gonna drink some coffee, drink some water, and some stuff. Yeah. Anyway, Godspeed, Christina. I'm gonna pop on a little bit later and play some music, I think.